Hey guys, Smitty here with Just Piddlin Barbecue. This past Wednesday on the live stream, we had a good conversation about how to get the best bark on a pork butt. And that got us into the conversation of whether it's better to wrap or not to wrap and how that affects the pork butt. So today, I've got two pork butts. One I'm gonna cook at 250 degrees and not wrap it at all. And the other one I'm gonna cook at 250 degrees and wrap it with tinfoil. And we're gonna see what the results are. It's going to be a great video. If you don't tune in to the Wednesday night live streams at 8 p.m., you really need to do so. It's a great community. We have a lot of conversation about barbecue and other things as well, but really helpful, really great people. Check it out. In the meantime, check out this video. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the trimming and seasoning of these pork butts. Really, there's not going to be a whole lot of trimming to be done, to be honest with you. I'm going to use some olive oil and use that as a binder for these rubs. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit while I do this. You can watch how I do it if you want to, but you've probably seen this done 100 times. There's a little piece of fat right there I want to trim off. So on the live stream the other night, as I said, we were talking about getting a good bark on a pork butt, and we had a conversation about wrapping or not wrapping, or tinfoil or butcher paper and all that stuff. Well, I got to thinking, I've got a couple of pork butts already, and I thought, why not go ahead and do a video on that and see what kind of bark we can get without wrapping, and what kind of bark that we can get by wrapping. And so I think we're going to wrap with tinfoil, just because that's kind of the other extreme. You know, I think butcher paper kind of gives you the best of both worlds, but I want to see what the difference is between I'll show you guys what the difference is between not wrapping at all and wrapping with tinfoil. So that's what we're going to do today. I mean, those look pretty good already, so I'm going to put a little olive oil on this side. And the rub that I'm going to be using is a rub that I haven't tried before. We got it in the mailbag from Amy and Austin from Texas, and it's actually a rub from Texas, Grub Rub. It's seasoned with tenderizer, old family recipe, and so we're going to give it a try. It is from Katy, Texas, so we're going to use that a little bit today. So I'll take the lid off of that. Again, when you're doing stuff like this, try to keep one hand that's going to be messing with the meat and the other hand uncontaminated, so you don't contaminate your stuff. And then it goes right back in the cabinet, and then everything in your cabinet is contaminated. So but we're going to try this today. Kind of like the color and smell of it so far. Got a little bit of a light coloring to it. We're going to cook this pretty well. Both of these pork butts, it came in a twin pack. And they're probably about 8 pounds each. So pretty equal, I think, as far as giving you guys a good comparison. And you know, as far as how they're going to turn out and that kind of stuff. So should be a pretty good little video as far as helping you decide whether or not you want to wrap your pork butts or not wrap them at all. I'm going to be cooking today on the Traeger XL. I'm going to be using some hickory and cherry pellets, but I'm at the end of those, so I topped off the hopper with some pecan, or pecan if you're a Yankee, some pecan pellets. So we might get into those, but I kind of doubt it. That hopper holds 40 something pounds of pellets, so I think we should be good there. When I open up the grill, you'll notice I've already cleaned the grill. You know, I'm always conscious about if I'm gonna do a long cook, making sure that my grill is clean, making sure that my grill's got plenty of pellets and that kind of stuff. So it would be good if you do the same. That way you don't run into any issues. So that looks pretty good right there. Now I've got the grill set on 250 degrees. When both of them get at an internal temperature of about 160 degrees, I'm gonna wrap one of them. But I'll take you through that process as we go. We've got these things seasoned up, so let's get them on the Traeger XL. All right, we're out here at the Traeger XL. It's running around 270. It'll settle down to about 250 or so. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing on. Again, the grill has been cleaned. I'm gonna go fat cap up. Not that it really matters. Both of them are going to sit right in the middle of each side. And I'm going to let them go just like that. And I'll continue to update you maybe every hour or two. I may go in there and put me a little spritz bottle together with some apple cider vinegar and water. And about every hour I'll come out here and spritz. Old Traeger XL rolling smoke right now. I love this thing. It rolls smoke the whole entire time. So I'll bring you back, give you an update shortly. All right, folks, these pork butts been on about 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes, somewhere around there. Run at 247 degrees. It's been varying 5 or 6 degrees up and down. Running perfect. Do a little pellet check, and looks like we're doing fine. No problems with that. We're going to spritz it a little bit. 50-50 apple cider vinegar and water, and that's usually my go-to spritz. Looking fantastic so far. Beautiful. Put the lid back down and let it go for another hour or two. Alright guys, it's been about 4 hours. The pork butts are right at 165 degrees internal temperature. I'm going to take the one from the right, go ahead and put it on this tin foil, wrap it up, and put it right back on. I do a double layer of tin foil. That's just what I always do, just make sure it's wrapped thoroughly. The color on these things are amazing so far. Let's go ahead and get these things wrapped. Color on that thing right there. Beautiful. Get this thing wrapped up. I'm going to spin it. Wrap it again. Now we can get it right back on, just like it was starting to begin with. Look at this one. I'll go ahead and give this one another spritz. That's going to be the last spritz for that one as well. From now on, they're just going to be on their own until they reach about 200, 205 degrees internal temperature. Alright guys, these pork butts have been on for about 6.5, 7 hours. The one on the right that is wrapped it's around 205, 206 degrees. I'll show you in just a minute. But when I put this temp probe in, it goes right through like butter. So that one's done. I'm going to go ahead and take it off, put it in this pan and let it rest, while the one on the left that's unwrapped, it's still got a little bit longer to go. It's around 190 degrees. Not probing all the way tender like I want it to, so we're going to let that one stay on. But this is one of the benefits of wrapping with tin foil, is that it increases that, or it speeds up that cook time a little bit. So if you're needing to get through with a cook quicker, go ahead and wrap it in foil, and it's going to speed up that cook time. But I'm going to go ahead and take it off. I'll show you what we got here. So the one on the left, the color's looking great on it. It's broken pretty tender. It's at 191 right now. Actually, it's still right there. Still a little bit tight. This one, however, all the way straight to the bottom. We're at 208, so we're going to go ahead and take that off. Put it in a pan. We're going to let it rest. I'll probably pop the foil open and just kind of let it start cooling off a little bit. Whenever this one gets ready, we'll take it off, let them both rest a little bit, and then we'll take you inside and give you a little taste test, let you see what the differences are. Stay tuned. Finished the cook. This one took between 30 and 45 minutes longer than this one did, with this one being wrapped. And there's several differences between the two. This will probably be a little bit longer taste test, but I've got several different points I want to make about this cook, and maybe this will help you in deciding how you want to cook your next pork butt. So first off, I started to take this one out of the pan, out of the wrapper part, and just leave it in the pan by itself. But then I decided not to, because I wanted to show you a couple of things different between this cook and this cook. This one of the benefits, in my opinion, to wrapping is that you get to save all of these juices. And inside this pan, I mean, it's full of juice. So what I normally try to do, once I get everything pulled apart and get some of the excess fat off, is to incorporate some of that juice back into the meat, and that helps it stay really moist. All right, now this one, obviously the color on this one is a lot darker, and you can tell this one is not as crispy a bark, I guess you could say, as this one is. This one again is a lot darker, not wrapped at all. A little bit tougher as far as the outside part goes, where this one is a little more tender as far as the outside part goes. Now this is going to be tough because I'm out of gloves, and these are still hot even though they've been resting a little while. But let's see here. There's the bone right there. So I can grab it without tearing the hide off my fingers. But it slides. Well, there you go, right there. Should slide right out. I can't grab it, it's too hot. But as you can see, look at that meat right there. And the smoke ring. Really nice smoke ring on that. And if you can hear that, that's the bark that you're going to get if you don't wrap. And that smells so good. But again, great smoke ring on that. That Traeger XL lays out the smoke the whole entire time. But that is the one that was unwrapped. I'll taste it in just a minute. Then as far as this one that was wrapped, I can grab, this one's been resting a lot longer, obviously about 45 minutes longer, so I can pull that straight out. And I would imagine if I can get some of this pulled, pretty good smoke ring with that as well. If you can see that pretty good. Nice smoke ring, really moist. This one right here is going to be nice and tender too. There's some of that middle part there. So what are some of the differences? Obviously with the bark is going to be better on this. Where's that one piece? I mean, as you can hear, the bark on that is amazing. This one is really hot because this one hadn't rested as long, but I'm ready to get a piece of that bark. That is really good stuff. And I know there's a lot of brisket guys out there. I love this. This is my favorite right here. Really good, tender, great flavor from that rub. Again, look at that smoke ring. Really good. Try a little bit of this. Now, again, this one is going to be a little bit more tender because it kind of held in that heat, steamed a bit, if you will, inside this tinfoil. Flavor, I mean, the flavor part is really about the same. The difference is the bark on the outside versus the tenderness and moisture content of this one. And less cooking time with this one, about 45 minutes, probably save you close to an hour. So that's really the two differences between the two. Either one of them are great. I mean, I'll do them this way, I'll do them that way. Sometimes I'll wrap them in butcher paper, for example. It really doesn't matter. They're all good. It just depends on what you want to achieve in your cook. But man, love it. The other thing that I will say that makes good barbecue with pork butts, once you get to this stage and you start pulling it apart, get all that sinew and excess fat that's inside that pork butt out so that you've got clean, nice, flavorful meat. And people that you might have over aren't getting some nasty, stringy, undissolved fat that's in there. That's what really makes good barbecue. It doesn't matter what you cook it on, what kind of grill you've got, what kind of fuel that you use. If you leave all that crap in there, it kind of ruins it for the end, and this takes too much time not to take the time at the end to do it right, so do it right. I hope this helps you guys with your cooks as far as should I wrap it, should I not, and what's the differences between the two. And you both of them are trying to see what you like. I like both of them. So we're probably going to eat both of them. Cheers, and see you next time. Till then, we'll be piddling. Thank you.